Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today's video, episode 6 of season 2 of the Look-In series, a series where I go through every NBA team at the end of their season and recap their season, talk about the future, what state the team is in, and all the stuff like that. Today's episode is on the Toronto Raptors. We're going to talk about them here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. If you miss any other Look-In episodes, there's a playlist on my channel, or it will be at the end of the video, so you can go check that one out. I'll link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. The Toronto Raptors this season have entered a new era in the team's history. They finish 12th in the East at 25-57, their worst record in a long time. Their worst record since 2011 when they lost 60 games. Their first time in a while that they were really bad. You had the 2021 year, post-COVID, where they were in Tampa, where they weren't that good. They only won 27 games that year. But I didn't even know this is the first time the Raptors have actually been, pretty bad. They've made the playoffs in, I want to say, 8 of the last 9 years or something like that. They have been actually, a really good team consistently, But this year they've dove in to the rebuild, which is a big thing coming into the season. The expectations coming into the year were we didn't really know because we didn't know how this team was going to look. All eyes were on what direction are they going to take. Are they going to keep Pascal on the last year of his contract, try to sign him into extension, keep OG, and try to keep this winning going, and try to see what they can make out of it? Or are they going to trade Pascal, trade OG, reset, and rebuild this team? And they went with the rebuild, hiring a new coach, trading a lot of their former guys, and now a new era of the Toronto Raptors is happening, which I'm honestly pretty excited about. I'm excited that they picked the rebuild direction, honestly, because I feel like if they would have kept Pascal and OG, I don't think they really were going to do much with it, And I think a big reason why they did choose the rebuild was Scotty Barnes this season. Scotty Barnes, he won Rookie of the Year his rookie season. Last year, kind of wasn't the jump we expected. He kind of stayed the same, if not maybe even got a little worse in his rookie season. And it was kind of okay, what's happening, Scotty? We thought he was going to be the future of the team. What's going to happen now? But this season, his third year, he took off. He made the All-Star team. He averaged 28 and 6, a steal, 1.5 blocks, shot at 47, 34, 78. Again, made the All-Star team. He was amazing this season. And honestly, I think him breaking out was what made the Raptors go into a rebuild. I think they saw Scotty come out. They saw Scotty kind of be the number one, take over. And they were like, you know what? We have Scotty. He's playing super good. We think he's going to be the future of this team. I think now we can trade Pascal, trade OG, and we can go into a younger direction with having a guy already in Scotty Barnes at 22 years old, already is an all-star level player. And he had a big jump. I mean, he led the team in so many different things. He's one of those guys that just was stuff in the stat sheet, has some big moments. Was definitely a candidate for most improved player of the year. I mean, he made the All-Star. Scotty Barnes is the All-Star this season. That's how great he's been playing. It's just awesome to see Scotty take that jump, and I think that's really what led the Raptors into this direction of a rebuild now. And they did trade Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby, two guys that have been in Toronto their entire careers, two guys that were helpful in many ways. They both won a championship with the Raptors. Pascal was an all-star, a guy that they took, he was the 27th overall pick back in 2016, 2017 out of New Mexico State. Built him up from being the ninth man of the rotation to a bench player, to a most improved player, to an all-star, to an All-NBA. They built it from the ground up, and then OG Anunoby, a guy that they took, that they developed into a really nice player as well. And it was just what they had to do. Both guys were on expiring contracts, and things were not looking bright for the future. So they trade both of them, and with the OG and Pascal trade, this is what they got back. They got back R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis, who now is on another team, 3 first-round picks, and a second-round pick, which I think is not a bad, package to get back. In the OG trade, you get back R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, two guys that are still young. Two guys that have shown potential and could be good players. You bring them in now with the young culture of Scotty Barnes, and then with the Pascal trade, you don't get necessarily the players, but you get the picks. So they found a way to get the picks and the young players in two separate trades, which I like for Toronto. You know, and these young players, I mean, they're good. R.J. Barrett led the team in scoring when he was in Toronto. In 32 games he played, he averaged almost 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 55% from the field, 39% from three, only 63% from the free throw line, which is kind of odd because RJ's usually like a pretty solid 70s-ish free throw shooter, but only he got to Toronto and shot 63%. He shot 83% in New York, so that's an odd thing. But RJ Barrett has some good moments. He had a couple 30-point games, some big moments. He was rebounding the ball well. The efficiency is what stands out to me, especially from three, 39% from three. He only took a little bit less than 4 per game, but still, he was knocking him down. And then Emmanuel quickly, his first time getting a starting opportunity, and he averaged 18, 5, and 7 on 42, 39, 84 shooting splits. We're going to talk about him in a second, too, because he has a contract going to be coming up. So those two guys played really well. They also traded guys like Dennis Schroeder, older guys, got out the door, you know. And you look at this team right now, and they do have Scotty, RJ, and IQ for now as their young nucleus at 22, 23, and 24. You also have Grady Dick, who they drafted in the lottery last year. He didn't really come on to the end of the season. But when he did play at the end of the year, he actually had some good moments. 8 points a game, shooting 42% from the field, 36% from three, 86% from the free throw line. You know, he didn't really start getting minutes until about January, late January, when they finally started to, like, you know, kind of say, all right, we're done with this. And in the last 39 games of the season, he averaged 11 points, shot 45% from the field, 39% from three on 5 attempts. You know, he showed some things. He had a 20-point game against Toronto. They did lose by 40, but he had a 22-point game. His last stretch of the season at 2 was really, really good. Now, at this point, the Raptors are kind of just playing, you know, just whatever type of people, like guys you don't even know about. But his last 9 games of the season, he averaged 15 points on 45, 39, 78 shooting splits. And had a couple of 20-point games in there. So Grady Dick looks like a decent piece. Is he going to be a superstar type player? No, but I think he could be a nice young piece to this Raptors team. After that, there's not really that much like concrete young players. I think there's stuff to work that out, but then again, this offseason is going to be the first offseason of the rebuild, so they can have a lot things get done. Guys get traded, guys are going to leave in free agency and stuff like that. You know, and also I want to say, Toronto Raptors fans, expect to not be good the next couple of years. I think you know that already, but I'm just saying, don't expect this Raptors team to be like a playoff team in the next couple of years. They do have some good talent, obviously. Scotty, RJ quickly, that's not bad at all. But don't expect this team to be really good. This is a new era, and I'm honestly very interested to see what this offseason looks like for Toronto. And looking at the offseason, starting with the NBA draft, they're going to have a very interesting NBA draft, I think. Their own first-round pick, it could not be theirs. They might not have their own first-round pick this season. If you remember, back the Jakob Poeltl trade where they acquired Jakob Poeltl back last trade deadline in hopes of that providing something and winning, they gave the San Antonio Spurs their pick with a protection on it that's protected 1 through 6. And right now it is projected at number 6, but we still don't have the draft lottery yet. So if that pick falls below 6, the Spurs get that pick. So there's a chance that the Raptors, who finish with 57 losses, might not have their own pick in the lottery this year, which would suck, you know. But it's not all bad because they do have the Indiana Pacers pick this year with the Pascal trade, and right now it's projected about 17, and that pick is protected 1 through 3, so they're gonna get a first round pick regardless. They're gonna get a first round pick, you know, from Indiana at the very least, but their own first round pick might be in jeopardy. You know, so there's potential they could have 2 first round picks in this year's draft, or they can only have 1, which not complaining about 1. And then they're also going to have a second round pick this year via the Detroit Pistons. That's going to be 31. So that's a really, really good second round pick as well. Looking at potential draft prospects for them, I think there's a lot of different ways they can go because this is the first year of the rebuild. You know, and the only really concrete things they have, I guess, is Scotty and RJ. IQ is still to be determined because he's a restricted free agent. They have some different ways they could go. I don't think a guard is out of the question, even if you do bring back IQ. I don't think a guard is out of the question. I think maybe Reed Shepard could be a nice option, a freshman, that had a good year that could fit in, but also maybe you can let him spread his wings a little bit more. Maybe even Rob Dillingham. Who knows? If the Raptors go in and be like, we just want talent at this point, Rob Dillingham is very talented. I wouldn't even be mad at that pick. They take a chance on Stephon Castle. I wouldn't mind that either. I actually would like that for Toronto if they take a chance on Stephon Castle. Try to get that unlocked potential next to Scotty, RJ, and IQ. I think going forward is another good option as well. I think a Cody Williams out of Colorado, he kind of fits the Toronto kind of style of big wing with long arms, the defense and stuff. I think he could work there. I think maybe even a Ron Holland from the G League can work over there. Looking at some other guys up here, I wouldn't even be super like thrown off if they do maybe draft Donovan Clingan, a big man, you know, because depending on what they do with Jakob Poeltl this offseason, if they do keep him around or if they do trade him, bringing in a guy like Donovan Clingan, why not? I feel like the Raptors are in a position where if they do end up getting that top 6 pick, they have some options right there. Like they have some options that I wouldn't be surprised they can go either way. And then they also have a chance that if you do keep that top 6 pick, you also have another mid first round pick coming in at right now it's projected about 17. So that even if you do, maybe try to take a swing on like a guard or something like a Rob Dillingham early, you can come later in the draft and still get your 4. Still get maybe if you want that center, maybe you get Yves Messi or even Kyle Filipowski if you want to get crazy with it. Tristan Da Silva, Khalil Ware, or if you want to go with the shooting guard, Terrence Shannon Jr., Jared McCain. Like I feel like the Raptors are in a position where they have some options in this draft. And the good thing is they don't have to draft their superstar because they already have Scotty Barnes, who is the face of the team. They already have RJ Barrett, who looks like he's going to be a part of this team's future. So right now you don't have to go get a superstar potential type of dude. You can still go out and draft for fit, but also draft for fit with a little bit of potential, which is why I like the Stephon Castle pickup if they are able to get him. Because I feel like he fits next to RJ and them, but also has potential to break out. Cody Williams can fit, but also has potential to maybe be something more. Reed Shepard can fit, but also has potential to be a little bit more. Like I really like. I think the Raptors have some good options in the draft, and then also having the 31st overall pick, where they can maybe steal a second round gem. So I like the Raptors draft positioning. This year, even if they do get that top 6 pick, I feel like that would be amazing. But even if they don't, they still could have some decent options at 17 and 31. And then going to free agency, they're not gonna have a lot of money in free agency. They are projected about negative 26 mil in cap space because they did take on RJ Barrett's contract. They do have Jakob Poeltl around for the next couple of years. Some of their free agents, Bruce Brown has a $23 million team option next year. That's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Do they keep Bruce Brown around or do they let him kind of go and let him get back onto a contending team, which I feel like that's where his role is? Or do they keep him and flip him? I think a team would take Bruce Brown. He is making $23 million, but it'll only be for 1 year. Gary Trent Jr. will be an unrestricted free agent. I think he's gone. I think Gary Trent Jr. can go to a better team, and fit there as kind of like a microwave player. And then after that, Emmanuel Quickly. He's a big one. Restricted free agent. I think if I'm the Raptors, I do re-sign him to a contract. How much is he going to get? I don't really know because I think Emmanuel Quickly is really, really good. But just I don't know how much the Raptors do believe in him. When he did play with Toronto, 18, 5 and 7 on good efficiency. He's shown the potential to be a really good player. Is he going to be an all-star level player? I don't think so, but I think he's still going to be a really, really good guard. I really like Emmanuel Quickly. So I think that's a top priority for Toronto this offseason, and that's really it. They don't really have anything big like Jordan Warwick, Garrett Temple, who knows. But after that, Jakob Poeltl, I think, is a guy that I'm really looking at to see what happens this offseason with him. He's 28 years old. He just came off the first year of a new 4-year contract extension. He's getting paid $19.5 million for the next 2 years, and then he has a $19.5 million player option in 2027. So I'm interested to see what they do with him because I'm sure some playoff teams would love to have a backup big in Jakob Poeltl, even a starter depending on the team. Like Jakob Poeltl is a really, really good big that's just going to do what big man things do. He's going to shoot efficiently. He's going to protect the rim. A really good underrated passer as well, good rebounder. Like he's just a really, really good center. So I think a lot of teams would like to have a Jakob Poeltl, so I think they can get something decent for him. Chris Boucher, on the last year of his contract at 31, he's kind of the last remaining bit from those playoff teams. So maybe he gets flipped and he can get, I don't know what they're really going to get, but they're going to get something okay. I think they can get a second round pick or two, for Chris Boucher. I think the Toronto Raptors are in a very nice position. I like what they have. I mean, they already have the kind of centerpiece in Scotty and RJ. If they do tie and lock up Emmanuel quickly, they potentially could have 2 first round picks this season. That could bring us some more. And this is only year 1 of the rebuild as well. So year 1 of the rebuild, it's not like you really need to have everything set in place. Year 1 of the rebuild, usually people don't even have their star yet. But Toronto is already in advance because they have Scotty and RJ and IQ. They already have 3 really good young players, and with potentially 2 first round picks coming on the way. So Toronto is set up pretty nice for this rebuild. Again, they have to go out and do it, and we got to see what happens in this offseason. But I think the Raptors are in a very decent position where, maybe they couldn't compete for a playing spot next year. Who knows? Maybe with a full healthy year of Scotty, RJ, IQ in there, who knows? Maybe they can compete for a playoff spot, a play-in spot. Maybe they can sneak into that 10 seed. Who knows? But Toronto looks like they're in nice for a solid rebuild. We just got to see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, also like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. If you want to watch any of the other Look-In videos, there's a playlist that should be up here on the screen that you could click on and you can watch those. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.